If you understand soil biology, you'll understand how beautiful this is. It is not cold out here this morning. It's actually starting to get warm. We have rain coming in, and I have a sty on the inside of my eyelid, which is making me cry. So I'm not emotional, I'm in pain. I don't even know if I can edit a video, so I may just put this whole video up. But today we're going to talk about, there's a common, I don't want to say it's a myth, but I think there's a lot of misinformation out there when it comes to soil health and soil biology and soil microbes and improving your soil. And I want to show you something. I'm going to start off this video by showing you something. I'm going to show you soil that, if taken care of, let's say it's 5 years old. So let's go ahead and let's dig into one of these rows. Let's dig into one of these rows here. And what I want you to see, there are literally every scoop that I take, every handful, there's probably 3, 4, 5 earthworms in every handful I take. But what I want you to see is I want you to see this soil structure. I want you to see the aggregate form, and I want you to see the porosity. So I might have to get my phone. Let me get my phone and try this. So let's see if we can zoom in a little bit with our phone. And I want you to look at the porosity of this soil and the soil structure. This is amazing. So when I break this apart, you can see how it wants to stick together. Look at the worms. It wants to stick together. It's sort of, there's this glutinous sort of compound that's holding all this soil together. And literally, every time I break it apart, there's earth. Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is crazy. That is just crazy. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to guess how many years it took to create that soil. 5 years, 3 years, 2 years? That soil was actually created about 2 weeks ago. That's right, 2 weeks ago. So what we did was we left our already worked soil from previous years, and then we built up with just plain topsoil, just red clay kind of topsoil. We mixed in dirt booster, we mixed in our super compost, we piled it up, and we left it. And we've been in a drought. That soil structure was developed in a matter of 2 weeks. So yes, you don't have to wait forever. You don't have to top dress with compost. You can till. If you have crappy soil, if you have real hard compacted soil like we have, you have got to get in there and put beneficial stuff in there. We've got biochar, we've got organic matter, we've got compost, we've got dirt booster. And 2 weeks, you can see the porosity, you can see the earthworms, you can see the actual glutinous sort of structure on there. It's absolutely amazing. So John has finished working on these specialty beds, mostly going to be herbs in there. And now what I'm doing is, so here, I want to show you exactly how we plant out here. So we have worked this soil, and we have put dirt booster and compost into the soil and tilled just this row. Now what I'm going to do is I have some hot compost, super compost. I'm going to dig a hole, and I'm going to mix 50-50 soil and compost. And I'm planting my yellow squash right now, so I'm also show you exactly how I do this. Down as deep as possible, and that's about my hard pan layer here and where we are. Man, you can just feel that hard pan. I'm trying to maybe break into that hard pan just a little bit. This soil's never been worked before. I'm just going to take the super compost, and you can actually see it steaming right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work some cold soil into it. So I have about a 50-50 mixture, because I don't want to put that plant right into that steaming hot stuff. Then I'm going to take my plant and put it right into here, just like that. And then I'm going to put the regular soil around it, so that that young plant's not really getting hit by that real hot, super rich nutrient stuff right away. It's going to grow down into that. And that's pretty much it. That's how we do it. That's how we have such success out here. All right, so the next important thing for a garden, or fields or anything is biodiversity. In a second, I'm going to take you up and show you these fields that we've worked on for years. And biodiversity means I have all kinds of different plants growing in here, and under the soil, I have this web of life. I have these roots, I have mycorrhizal fungi. Those plants are all interconnecting to each other. And this green space in here, we maintain 365 days a year. So my number one crop that I plant is I plant clover. Matter of fact, I just came out and planted some more. There is some cereal rye in here, which I'm cutting down little by little. I literally will come in here and either take my John Deere or a push mower, and we'll cut this at about, 4 or 5 inches and keep it kind of cut down. But it's amazing what happens. This provides shade to your ground cover. It opens up the soil, gives you porosity, so that when the water comes in, it's not just going here, it's going into this whole area. Now, this is one of the reasons why I moved away from a drip irrigation system, because a drip irrigation system last year during the drought did an okay job on my rows, but everything else in my garden died. I had blueberries over here, I have wildflowers, and I was having to come out here and hand water all those things because I was just getting water on each one of these plants. And the other issue I have is I have hardpan. Now, hardpan is a layer of clay that is basically like a rock. You cannot get a screwdriver through it. And that's what we have in this area. And what ends up happening with a drip irrigation system, I found, when you have hardpan, is that water settles at the bottom of that hole, the plant, and you can get root rot. So it did not work out well. So here's what I'm doing. We invested last year. I have a pond down there that's spring fed that I can suck up as much water as I want out of that thing. So I have a 2-inch high pressure pump. I have a 2-inch, and I had my well guys trench in 2-inch hard PVC pipe all the way to here, and I have a switching station here. And I can run my big irrigation sprinklers. I water these 1, 2, and 3 fields, and that's almost 800 feet that I can pump water up there too. So this year what I'm going to do is I've got medium-sized irrigation heads, and I'm going to put one on this corner, that corner, that corner, and that corner. And I'm just going to temporarily hook it up with a hose system. I'm not going to hard pipe it in yet. I want to test this. And so what I'll be able to do is early in the morning, come out here at 7:30 in the morning, start up the pump, and just soak this place for 45 minutes. Now that'll be a lot of water coming down here. Absolutely soak this place. This entire place will get soaked in the early morning, and then it'll have all day to dry out. You don't want to put water on your leaves going into the nighttime. So do I risk maybe a little more fungus and problems? Probably, but I'm telling you, I really kind of focus on the way that Mother Nature does stuff. And Mother Nature doesn't use a drip irrigation. Mother Nature actually waters this whole place, and this whole place will stay alive. It's going to be so nice just to be able to throw a switch, pull the pump, and just let this place get soaked. Okay, so here's a perfect example. This area over here has never been touched by us. I came over, I ran a subsoiler, and now we're going to turn this into a squash garden. Well, when we dig our holes, hey John, what happens at about 12 inches? What do we hit?
Hard, man.
Hard. I mean, it's like a rock.
A big difference. Yeah,
you can't dig past really 12 inches here. You hit the hard pan. And so what we're doing is, you can see this is all red clay in here, hard red clay. And what we're doing is we're digging down as far as we can, and then we're loading up that hole. John's loading up that hole with the hot super compost, putting it in, just giving 2 big scoops, just filling that up. And then what I'll do is I will take, it's actually steaming right now. That whole cart is steaming over there. So when I plant, I'll actually take this native soil, this nasty clay, I'll put it on top, and I'll put my seeds into there. The seeds will germinate in this, a few inches of this natural soil, and then as it grows, it'll grow down into that nutrient-rich soil, and it'll attract earthworms and this spot right here will actually turn into a nice actual nice actual rich soil like we have over here. Morning. So it's like 2 days later. It's 7:15 in the morning, and yesterday was a long day. My corn seeder came in, so I spent all day on a tractor up here. We got a huge vegetable, new squash garden going in. We've got all kinds of stuff going in. I'm seeding corn up in the fields. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any of these videos coming up, because it's going to get a little bit crazy. But here's what I want you to understand. I constantly see these videos and people telling you not to touch your soil. Don't disturb your soil. The worst thing you can do is till your soil or dig up your soil. Look, if you have compacted clay soil and it is dead, you can't kill something that doesn't exist. And so what I'm telling you, we've done this for years, is get in there, put a whole bunch of beneficial material inside of there, till it up. And once you create that great soil, yes, leave it alone and protect it. Then you can go to the point of just top dressing. But you've got to establish some base form of quality soil for a plant to grow. This soil out here is crap. I mean, it's horrible. So just do what we do. Build this super compost. It's the easiest way to do this. You can throw in alfalfa pellets. You can throw in all kinds of stuff. Where you're throwing in chicken manure from the chicken coop. Dirt Booster Plus is the main thing I rely on to have that mycorrhizal fungi up inside there. And that's how you're going to get started. And then you can go ahead and add that. And I'm telling you, when you add this super compost to that hard pan, it'll eventually start to work out. And then year after year, you can just top dress. We don't use fertilizers up there. If any of my plants are struggling, I'll just top dress with this super compost, water it in, and boom, it's like overnight, those plants just shoot up. Anyways, we've got a ton of stuff going on. Man, even though it's early, look at that lawn. So I've told you guys, my Bermuda is all starting to wake up. Matter of fact, on my pond berm over here, I've got centipede grass, and the centipede grass is all waking up. So spring is here, folks. We are busting our butt up in this garden. I think you'll enjoy what's coming up. I'll talk to you later. Doc.